Once we had our permit posted on site, it was time to get to work. After interviewing several contractors, we decided to go with a local family-owned company, D&R Green Sweep Clearing Services. We were going to have to clear several of the trees that were standing along with all the underbrush, so they brought in a skid steer as well as a mini excavator. Ripping out the sable palms, root and all, was an easy task. There were 3 live oak trees on the property, and they were a little bit more effort to get removed. They had to be dug out around the roots, and then the excavator could grab the stump and pull them out. The excavator thumb came in handy to help grab the stump so it could be pulled out of the ground. This live oak that was on the back of the property was actually split in half and blown over during Hurricane Ian, so it was going to be cut down anyway, and it took quite a while to dig the stump out. Here the operator is turning the stump around to sever the roots. We estimated that this stump probably weighed about 3,000 pounds. That little excavator is very, very powerful, and it's very quiet too. I flew my drone over to get an aerial view of what was going on, and you can see the husband and wife team operating the skid steer and the excavator. They made quick work of everything and got it done in just a few hours. They also pulled out 9 tires that had been dumped illegally on the property at some point. Prior to getting the permit issued by the city of Northport, the city arborist came by and walked the property to ensure that there were no gopher tortoise burrows and that all of the trees that needed to be marked were marked. There are very strict city ordinances about removing and replacing native trees, and actually, since we are adding on to an already improved property, we were allowed to remove the trees, but once the garage is built, we're going to landscape it with native trees anyway. They're using a skid steer with a root rake on it to remove all of the undergrowth and then put it in a pile so the excavator can grab it and put it in a bigger pile. That will all get removed the next day and be loaded into a large dump truck. A few hours later, they had finished removing all the brush. Everything was piled up into a big pile to come get the next day, and all the trash that they pulled out was in another pile, and I'll call the city and have them pick it up. As you can see, they did a great job leaving everything nice and clean and leveled out. Later on, we're going to have some grading done, and we'll probably bring in a little bit more dirt to raise the level of the garage up to match the house to avoid flooding like we had in Ian. And then when we set up all of those foundations and everything else, it'll be a lot more clear as to the footprint of the garage. But this is what it looks like now. They did a great job in just a few hours. I highly recommend them. In the next video, we're going to be laying out the dimensions of the garage and marking where all the footers are going to go, and also finding out where the driveway is going to be. And here's one last shot with the drone before I put it away.